You've probably heard it before. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And for many of us, especially after 60, a good breakfast means a familiar plate of eggs. Maybe they're scrambled, poached, or nestled in an omelette beside a warm slice of toast, a little cheese, or even that sizzling strip of bacon. It's not just food, it's comfort. It's a morning ritual that brings a sense of routine and joy. But what if that comforting breakfast is quietly working against you? What if, despite eating what seems like a balanced, healthy meal, you still wake up with aching legs, stiff joints, or that nagging tightness in your knees or ankles? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive, not just to what we eat, but to how we combine our foods. Some pairings, even ones that sound perfectly innocent, can cause inflammation to flare up without warning. And when that inflammation settles into your legs or joints, it can steal your comfort and your mobility before the day even begins. One of the most surprising culprits? Eggs. Not the eggs themselves. They're actually one of the best sources of protein and essential nutrients for older adults. But it's what you eat with your eggs that might be causing you trouble. In today's video, we're uncovering the top 5 foods you should never combine with eggs, especially if you're over 60. These aren't just guesses, they're backed by real patterns doctors and researchers are seeing in older adults and in people just like you. Stick with us, because by the end you'll not only know what to avoid, you'll also know what to eat instead to protect your joints, ease your mornings, and feel more like yourself again. Let's start with the most familiar combo, eggs and bacon. It's practically an American classic. For many older adults, that sizzling sound in the skillet is more than just breakfast. It's memory. It's tradition. Maybe it takes you back to Sunday mornings at the table with family, or to those quick weekday breakfasts before work. But here's the hard truth. That classic combo of eggs with processed meats like bacon, sausage, or ham might be doing more harm than good, especially if you're over 60. Processed meats are full of saturated fats, nitrates and sodium, which already put a strain on your heart and blood pressure. But when paired with eggs, particularly fried or scrambled in butter or oil, the combination can also raise uric acid levels in your bloodstream. That spike can lead to joint pain, especially in your feet, knees and lower legs. You've probably heard of gout, a form of arthritis often caused by high uric acid. What many people don't realize is that diet is a major factor, and this breakfast combo can quietly nudge you toward that painful territory over time. Even if you don't have gout, the inflammation caused by processed meats and eggs can contribute to that morning stiffness or the heaviness in your legs by the afternoon. That walk around the block, the trip to the store, or even standing to cook dinner starts to feel like a challenge, and you might not connect it back to the food on your plate. Let's take Ed, for example. He's 73 and still active, loves his morning walks and gardening. But for months, he struggled with swelling in his ankles and knees. He thought it was just age catching up. But after his doctor recommended cutting back on bacon and sausage and replacing them with spinach and avocado alongside his eggs, Ed noticed something. His legs felt lighter, his walks were easier, and by week 3 he was bending down to pull weeds without wincing. The solution doesn't have to be bland or boring. Swap out processed meats for anti-inflammatory options, a handful of leafy greens sautéed with garlic, a few slices of avocado, or even roasted sweet potatoes can bring flavor, nutrition, and relief to your plate. You don't have to give up eggs. You just have to give up pairing them with foods that rob you of your comfort and freedom. Now let's talk about the second common pairing, eggs with refined carbs like white toast, bagels, English muffins, or those soft breakfast rolls we all grew up loving. They're warm, comforting, and easy to reach for in the morning. You pop a slice of white bread in the toaster, scramble some eggs on the side, and boom, breakfast is served. But here's the issue. Refined carbohydrates are digested quickly and converted into sugar just as fast. When your body experiences that blood sugar spike, it responds by releasing insulin and other inflammatory chemicals. And for older adults who may already have slower metabolism or early insulin resistance, this reaction can hit harder. That spike and crash cycle, it doesn't just affect your energy, It contributes to chronic low-grade inflammation, the kind that settles quietly into your joints, especially in weight-bearing areas like your knees, ankles and feet. And when you combine those refined carbs with eggs, which are rich in protein and fat, digestion slows even more. Your body has to work overtime to break down the combination, and that sluggish digestion can create even more inflammatory buildup, starting in the gut and spreading through the bloodstream. Take Susan, for example. She's 68, loves her routine, and swore by her toasted bagel and eggs every morning. But she was waking up stiff, especially in her hips and knees. Her doctor didn't find anything alarming, so she figured it was just part of getting older. Then she saw a nutritionist who asked her to swap her refined carbs for whole grain toast or steel-cut oats a few times a week. Just one small change. Within 10 days, the stiffness eased. Within a month, her mobility was noticeably better. And all she did was ditch the white flour. Refined carbs are sneaky. They're often labelled as light, simple, or even classic. But what they're doing to your joints is anything but harmless. So next time you're building your plate, skip the bagel. Choose a slice of whole grain or sprouted grain toast or a side of roasted sweet potatoes. Your joints and your energy will thank you. There's something undeniably cozy about melted cheese over a warm plate of eggs. Maybe it's a cheesy omelette filled with peppers and onions, or maybe it's a sprinkle of shredded cheddar over scrambled eggs on toast. It tastes rich, filling and familiar. But if you're over 60 and struggling with aching knees, swollen ankles, or sluggish digestion, this creamy combo might be part of the problem. Cheese, especially the processed kind, is high in saturated fats, sodium and additives. And when it's melted, say in an omelette or breakfast sandwich, those compounds become even harder for the body to break down. Combine that with eggs, which are already rich in fat and protein, and you've created a meal that sits heavy in the stomach and can stall digestion for hours. Why does that matter? Because when digestion slows, inflammation rises. Older adults often experience reduced enzyme production and slower gut motility, meaning your body has to work harder to process rich foods. Instead of efficiently using nutrients, your system gets bogged down, and inflammatory signals start to spread, especially to the joints and muscles that are already under pressure from aging. Another hidden issue, casein, a milk protein found in cheese. For some people, especially those with low-grade food sensitivities, casein can act like an irritant, triggering swelling and discomfort, particularly in the knees, hips and lower back. Add the saturated fat content, and you've got a perfect storm of inflammatory triggers. Now, none of this means you have to swear off cheese forever, but it does mean it's worth looking closely at the kind of cheese you use and how much of it you're piling onto your plate. Let's take Marjorie, 71. She loved making herself a gooey cheese omelette in the morning, said it was her treat before the day got going, but by lunchtime her lower back was aching and her legs felt stiff. After some gentle advice from her doctor, she tried switching out her morning cheese with a side of sliced avocado and spinach instead. 2 weeks later, she called it a revelation. "I didn't realize how heavy I felt until I didn't anymore," she said. "So what can you do instead?" If you really want cheese, choose a natural variety like feta or goat cheese in small amounts. They tend to be easier on the digestive system and lower in saturated fat. Better yet, skip the cheese altogether a few days a week and add anti-inflammatory ingredients like kale, mushrooms or turmeric for flavor and health. You're not giving up flavor, you're just choosing to feel better later in the day. Now this one might surprise you. Vegetables. After all, aren't veggies always good for you? Well, yes and no. There's a specific group of vegetables called nightshades, including tomatoes, bell peppers, white potatoes and eggplant, that are often part of breakfast. Think of diced tomatoes in an omelette, hash browns with eggs, or a breakfast skillet with peppers and potatoes. These foods are healthy in many ways. They're full of vitamins, antioxidants and flavour. But for some older adults, especially those dealing with joint pain or arthritis, they can quietly make things worse. Nightshades contain a natural compound called solanine. In certain people, solanine can act as an irritant, especially in the soft tissues around the joints. If your body is sensitive to it, the solanine builds up and triggers inflammation, especially in weight-bearing areas like your knees, hips and feet. And here's the kicker. This kind of inflammation is slow and sneaky. It doesn't show up right after you eat. It might take a few hours or even a day to fully manifest. That makes it hard to connect the dots between what you ate and how you feel. Now combine those nightshades with eggs and you've got a meal that might be causing more harm than good. Eggs are dense in protein and fat, and while they're great on their own, they can make it harder for the body to clear out compounds like solanine, especially if your liver and kidney function aren't as strong as they once were. Let's talk about Harold, 75. He loved his veggie omelettes, loaded with tomatoes and peppers, and he made them almost every morning. But he kept noticing that by afternoon, his feet would swell and his knees felt tight. After cutting back on nightshades for 2 weeks, he reported back to his doctor with surprise, "I can tie my shoes without groaning again." This doesn't mean nightshades are bad for everyone, but if you're feeling stiffness or unexplained aches, especially after what feels like a healthy meal, they're worth testing out of your diet. So, what can you use instead? Try zucchini, spinach, asparagus or mushrooms. All of them sauté beautifully with eggs and bring nutrients without the potential downside. Add in a bit of garlic or herbs for flavor and you've got a breakfast that loves your joints as much as your taste buds. Now let's talk about something that seems innocent. A little sweetness at breakfast. Maybe it's a spoonful of jam on your toast, a squirt of ketchup on scrambled eggs, or a small glass of orange juice to wash it all down. These little additions feel like a treat, a bit of brightness to start the day. But when it comes to inflammation, they may be quietly making your mornings a lot harder. Here's why. Added sugar, even in small amounts, can cause spikes in blood sugar and insulin levels. For seniors, those spikes are harder to manage. The body becomes less efficient at handling glucose over time, and that opens the door to something far more uncomfortable than just a sugar crash. Chronic inflammation, especially in your joints and lower extremities. When your blood sugar rises too quickly, the body reacts by sending out inflammatory messengers. Over time, that inflammation starts to wear down the cartilage around your joints, stiffen your blood vessels, and reduce circulation, especially to your legs, ankles and feet. And sugar's damage doesn't stop there. It can also lead to something called glycation, where sugar molecules attach to proteins in your body. This process literally makes tissues less flexible, including the ones that cushion your joints and support your mobility. If you've ever felt a burning sensation in your calves or tingling in your feet after breakfast, or noticed that your knees feel tighter after what seemed like a light morning meal, sugar could be the silent culprit. Let's take Lorraine, 70, who swore by her 2-egg breakfast with jam on toast and a splash of fruit juice every morning. She felt like she was eating healthy. After all, she avoided processed foods and cooked at home. But her legs ached by lunchtime, and she'd often need to sit down just to shake the feeling off. Her doctor recommended she swap her jam for avocado, her juice for water with lemon, and skip ketchup altogether. Within 10 days, she was walking farther, standing longer, and even sleeping better, because her pain wasn't waking her up anymore. The biggest issue with sugar at breakfast is that it sneaks in. We don't always think of ketchup as sweet. We think of orange juice as healthy. But many of these items have as much sugar as a cookie. And when paired with eggs, which digest more slowly, it slows your whole system down. So what can you do instead? If you need a bit of flavor, try using fresh herbs, sliced avocado, or a drizzle of olive oil to bring richness to your eggs. For sweetness, a side of berries is far more gentle on your body than jam or juice. And instead of sweetened drinks, choose unsweetened herbal tea or good old water with a slice of cucumber or lemon. It's a simple shift, but one that could dramatically improve how your body feels by the time you finish breakfast. By now, you're probably realizing something important. It's not just about what you eat, it's how you pair it. Eggs, on their own, are one of the most nourishing foods you can eat, especially after 60. They're packed with protein to support your muscles, B vitamins for brain function, and healthy fats to keep your energy steady. But when you combine them with the wrong partners, processed meats, white breads, sugary condiments, those benefits get buried under a wave of inflammation. The good news? You don't have to give up your eggs. You just have to be more thoughtful about what shares the plate. So what should you eat with eggs instead? Let's start with leafy greens. Spinach, kale, arugula, lightly sautéed or served fresh, bring powerful anti-inflammatory nutrients to the table. They're rich in magnesium and vitamin K, both of which help support joint flexibility and reduce stiffness. Just a handful next to your eggs can make a big difference. Next, consider avocado. It's creamy like cheese, but filled with heart-healthy monounsaturated fats. It's gentle on digestion and supports your joints instead of stressing them. Spread it on a slice of whole grain toast or dice it into an egg scramble. Need a carbohydrate? Swap your white toast for a slice of sprouted or whole grain bread, or better yet, try roasted sweet potatoes or quinoa. These complex carbs digest slowly, helping keep blood sugar stable while delivering fiber and important minerals like potassium. And don't forget healthy fats. Instead of frying your eggs in butter or margarine, use extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil. These oils don't just taste great, they actively fight inflammation at the cellular level. If you're craving more flavor, add herbs and spices like turmeric, garlic, or a sprinkle of paprika. These offer a bold taste without the inflammatory cost of condiments like ketchup or hot sauce. The goal isn't restriction, it's freedom. Freedom from the tightness, the swelling, the dragging pain that sneaks in before the day's even begun. It's about creating a plate that works with your body, not against it. Because here's the truth. Food is one of the most powerful tools you have. It's a daily chance to choose strength, comfort, and clarity over fatigue, pain, and frustration. You've spent decades building a life. Now it's time to support your body in enjoying it, step by step, bite by bite. If this video helped you think differently about your breakfast, let us know in the comments. Share one change you plan to make. Maybe it's swapping out your bagel for greens or trading jam for avocado. Every small step counts. And if you'd like more videos like this, please like this video, subscribe to our channel and tap the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. Thank you for watching. And here's to mornings that move you forward, not hold you back.